Hi there. Our test and departmental production systems are now running on the AWS cloud, and we turn them on and off depending on usage requirements. Considering the success we had with deploying Microsoft SharePoint on AWS, I'm thinking about using it for the new corporate farm. Is it designed to handle our volumes and meet the high reliability SLA the business requires for this deployment?
Yes, of course. You already know that a deployment on the AWS cloud can be scaled up and down as and when required. For even greater flexibility and optimization, you can deploy a streamlined topology so that different servers can be scaled separately.
Our present architecture uses public and private subnets for security. Can we replicate that in AWS?
You can create a public-facing subnet to handle incoming traffic from an internet gateway and deploy a NAT instance for Windows Update. The SharePoint servers, databases, and Active Directory servers can be provisioned in a private subnet with no internet access.
These SharePoint deployments are critical to the business. Does the AWS cloud let me provide high availability?
Absolutely. Just place the servers in at least 2 availability zones. In case of an availability zone outage, this architecture allows access to the resources that may have failed over to the other availability zone.
What about balancing the need for remote administration with the need for security?
No problem. You can deploy RD gateways into the public subnets for remote administration and restrict access to your specified IP address range. Then use security groups to restrict access to the private subnet to only the HTTP and RDP protocols from the public subnet.
How do I integrate this with our Active Directory?
You can use a hybrid architecture that extends your private on-premises network to AWS, so that the resources in the AWS cloud use your existing AD infrastructure. You can even deploy domain controllers for your existing AD forest to the AWS cloud. This ensures that the SharePoint servers deployed in AWS remain functional and available in the event of an on-premises outage. You can also use the AWS Directory Service AD connector to proxy AD requests from the cloud to your on-premises AD domain.
What about the database tier?
For small or medium-sized environments, you might want to place all of your databases on a single server. Amazon Machine Images for SQL Server Express, SQL Server Web Edition, and SQL Server Standard Edition are available for launch on AWS. Or you can use Microsoft License Mobility through Software Assurance to bring your own licenses into the AWS cloud.
What if I need SQL Server Enterprise for high availability requirements?
You can deploy SQL Server Always-On Availability Groups in AWS so that you can spread your databases across a SQL Server cluster spanning 2 availability zones.
Do I have to build my SharePoint farms piece by piece, or is there an easier way to build them?
AWS provides a quick start reference guide and an AWS CloudFormation template free of charge.
So who's using the AWS cloud for SharePoint server deployments?
Customers find it especially beneficial where the workload varies, because you can quickly scale up or down as and when required. Companies are also using AWS deployments as standby for disaster recovery. If the primary fails, the AWS deployment can be spun up quickly to take over the workload without the need for dedicated hardware.
How much does it cost?
AWS provides a cost estimator calculator where you can plug in the number and type of Amazon EC2 instances you plan to deploy. As usual, you only pay for what you use. There are no minimum fees and no upfront commitments. Please complete the hands-on lab for this video at run.quicklabs.com. This lab should take you approximately 2 hours to complete.